Are you looking to ace any job interview that you have? If so, then this video is for you. Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Joe here from Learn, Earn, Enjoy. If you're new here, we make content to do with those three themes, to learn, earn, enjoy, which is the philosophy that I try to live my life by. In today's video, I'm going to talk to you about how to ace any job interview that you have. I previously worked in HR for 2 years, and since then I've hired a lot of people, so I have quite a lot of experience in doing interviews, and I know what's good and what's not. In today's video, I'll try and give you some tips so you can perform as best as possible in any future interview that you have. Firstly, I'll talk about the preparation you should do before an interview. I'll then move on to talking about the STAR method of answering competency questions. I'll then move on to the L, which I add on to the end of STAR, which I think makes a big difference, before finally covering the questions that you should ask as the interviewee at the end of the interview. As always, the different sections are timestamped, so please do skip ahead if you want to. Okay, let's get into it. So the first section is the preparation you should do in advance of an interview. You may be very nervous, but I find that preparation makes a big difference and helps take the nerves away. As an interviewer, you can certainly tell the difference between those that have prepared and those that haven't. Remember, in the interview, it's the interviewer's job to put you at ease and try and get the best out of you. It is not their job to sit there and try and make you more nervous and make you perform badly. If you feel they're doing that, they're a bad interviewer. You should prepare by thoroughly researching the company that you're applying for a role within. Look at current affairs within the industry and the company itself, and be prepared to talk about both of those in the interview. Even if you don't talk about them within the interview, they're good topics for small talk. This will show that you are thoroughly prepared, and again, would set you apart from people that have not done that research and don't discuss those type of things. I'd assume that your covering letter, application and CV are already specifically tailored to both that organisation and the role, but you should also be prepared to talk through your CV and your previous experience and highlight specific things you've done or experienced or learned that are relevant to that job. So don't literally read through your CV going, I worked at this company and then I moved to this company. Talk more overview style and pull out specific things related to the job that you're applying for. As an interviewer, you can see a huge difference between someone that's able to give an overview and pick out salient topics to someone that just reads almost directly off the CV, even if it's something you're really proud of. If it's not relevant to the job, and there's no transferable learning or skills, do not waste time talking about it. If the interviewer wants to hear about a specific thing that you've not mentioned when giving your overview, they will ask. You should spend a significant amount of time researching the organisation's core competences or values. They may not be called competences or values, but it will be some variation of that. They'll normally have between 4 and 10 things that are part of their culture and that they centre their organisation around. The chances are you'll have competency questions in the interview centred around these values or competences, so it's essential that you know them before you go to the interview. For example, Google have 10 things we know, and Amazon have 14 leadership principles, which is quite a lot. Having said that, in your preparation, you shouldn't try and think of specific questions per value or competency and then script answers to those specific questions. What you should do is have a range of issues or topics you've encountered in the past, a knowledge bank if you will, of specific situations where you've achieved something, and be ready to tailor those situations to answer these competency questions you will be asked in the interview. It comes across much better when someone is applying a particular situation they've encountered in the past to a particular competency than someone that is drastically trying to remember their specific script in their head that they'd scripted for a specific question beforehand. It's just not natural to do that. Next is the STAR technique of answering competency questions. So STAR stands for situation, task, action and result. The interviewer is looking for you to answer questions in this format, so in those distinct 4 sections, as it makes their job easier. It's actually quite hard to make notes during an interview and capture everything the interviewee says. So anything you can do to make that easier, for example answering in a specific STAR format, will help the interviewer make their job easier and will increase the chances that they take notes on everything that you've said in the interview. So when an interviewer asks you to talk about a time you've displayed X competency, structure the answer in this way. Firstly, talk about the specific situation you're in, then talk about the task that you were about to undertake, then talk about the action that you took, and finally talk about the result from the action. If you answer in that way, it makes the job much easier for the interviewer. They may well probe and ask more questions as you're going through that structure, but do try and structure in that way. The next bit I want to talk about is the addition of L at the end of STAR. The L stands for what you learned and what you would do differently next time, if anything at all. I think the addition of this at the end gives a much more rounded answer, and it's much more comprehensive, and it shows a greater level of maturity and skill. People are continually learning, and if you're able to articulate what you learned and what you would do differently next time, that is much more appealing to an interviewer than someone that doesn't acknowledge that they've learned anything and would just do the same thing time and time again, regardless of the result. The final section is the questions that you should ask as the interviewee. Remember, an interview is a two-way process, and it's designed just as much for you to understand if the company is the right fit for you as it is for the interviewers to understand if you're the right fit for the company. As such, you should go armed with a list of questions about the organisation and the role that you want answering. As a hiring manager, I would look negatively upon someone that didn't have any questions to ask. I would just think that they hadn't really thought this through, and they were therefore not that prepared or dedicated or committed to the interview process, and then potentially the job as well. Now, just to be clear, I am talking about questions other than how much is the pay and what are the benefits and simple ones like that. I would expect to see questions such as, what is your biggest challenge within the company? How has a certain current affair affected the company? What would you say is the most frustrating thing about your jobs currently? What are the prospects for progression within the company? What's your current training and development policy? And would you recommend a job here to a close friend or relative that was looking for a job? These types of questions prove that the candidate has thought about the job in some detail. To me, this indicates that they're more likely to be committed and have not just applied because it's the first job they've seen or it's particularly well paid or any other reason. Thanks for watching to the end of the video. If you've enjoyed the content, please do consider liking and subscribing. We're a small new channel and it would really help us out. Has anything in this video helped you prepare for your next interview? If so, what exactly? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching and we'll see you on the next one.